places are doing about the same. We're sending out workouts about every 3 weeks. We have I will actually make the workout up and send it out on a platform called Teamworks. We have also another platform called Fusionetics that we're using that the guys can download the app on their phone and follow a workout there. Me and my staff have divided the players up because we're dealing with 120 guys. So my staff and I have divided the players up. For instance, I've got the O-line, quarterbacks, and tight ends. And we will call those guys once a week, or FaceTime is kind of I think these kids nowadays like to FaceTime. I think they've gotten out of text and they like to FaceTime now. So anyway, we'll FaceTime. I'm on a group me with those guys as well, so we can kind of stay in contact with those guys like that. Once every other week, we will jump on a Zoom call with their position coach just to kind of say hello again and make sure making sure they're okay, really, and making sure their family's fine and just letting them know we care about them. I've told a bunch of people in the last probably week that the guys that work hard when they're with you in the room are going to work hard right now. The guys that kind of, they're average, they're going to do what you ask them to do, probably no more, no less. They're probably doing the same thing right now. And the ones that cheat right in front of you, and you have to watch them every step of the way when they're in front of you, sure as heck they're going to cheat and not do anything and be lazy right now. So if guys are doing something, I'm happy with it. Obviously, I'd like them to follow a little bit of what we're trying to get them to do. But, if they're not exactly doing it all, but they're doing something, I'm fine with it because at least we're getting something done. So, I think we're all a little bit in the same boat there. We have sent them stretch bands. They've got some stretch bands and things like that. And I do a Twitter video every day, but that's really not for our players. It's really, I don't know, I started doing it just to be bored because I didn't have anything else to do and kind of figured the general public and people that wanted to do something could follow it. It's still, somewhat athletic. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at as far as that goes. I think the biggest challenge for us is when we get back, trying to figure out how we're going to get them back in shape in a timely manner. That's going to be tough because I think as you start looking at it, you're dealing with probably 3 different players coming back. Ones are in great shape, ones are okay, and ones that haven't done anything. And if I train everybody like the ones that hadn't done anything, then the guys that have been doing a lot are going to suffer and not get better. If I train the guys that have done really well, then I may overtrain the guys that hadn't done anything, and God forbid we may have a serious accident. So I think the challenge is going to be trying to figure out how to train those guys for everybody to get what they need. And unfortunately, probably in I'd say 4 to 6 weeks is about all I may have this summer. And with all due respect to all football coaches out there, forgive me for saying it, but I'm gonna say it. If the strength and conditioning coach has to have time with the players in order to get them shape to play football, you cannot put a guy that has not done anything out there and expect him to do an hour and a half practice or 2 hours. He may do it for 1 day or 2 days, but eventually you're going to start getting soft tissue injuries. And then now everybody wants to look back at the strength coach where, well, wait a minute now, you didn't give us enough time or at least a couple of weeks to try to get the guys in shape. So I love the football coaches and I work for them, and that's awesome. But I really believe if the strength and conditioning coach gets some time with the athletes, he can at least get him or her somewhat on a baseline level. So when you do get to practice, it's somewhat safe, if that makes sense. So,
we've been having a lot of those discussions. Our staff has talked, and we're going to meet tomorrow night and about that same thing. Like when we get these guys back, it's going to be short notice probably before, a couple weeks, and we're going to have to play a football game. Like, how are we going to get ready for that? How are we going to practice? How are we going to be in the weight room? So it's a tough balance for sure.
I mean, and if you're doing it right, honestly, I mean, there's position, there's papers out there and data that say, I mean, you're going to have to give them, a 4-to-1, 5-to-1 work to rest ratio early on. You have to acclimate them, because if you try to go out there and do it too hard, too quick, possibly in the heat, you're looking at trouble. You're looking at, an incident that you don't want to happen, and God forbid somebody gets really hurt. So it's going to be a fine line, but I think you have to err on the side of caution like crazy and really give them 2 to 3 weeks to try to get acclimated, because if not, everything that we're putting on these kids is a stimulus. And whether it's watching film, whether it's weights, whether it's conditioning, practice, and you do all those things, the body's going to break down pretty quick if you're not doing it the right way and giving time. So, I think it's going to be definitely a balancing act to try to walk it as best you can. But for everybody out there, I'd always err on the side of caution. I mean, you can get that extra sprint in, or you can get that extra practice in tomorrow, or that extra rep in tomorrow. But if you push them too hard, too quick, you may not get tomorrow. So, you really got to think about that, because, we're, and I'm speaking of me in college, but we've dealt with coming off, 3.5, 4 weeks of a Maymester where we don't have a lot of guys in, and we're going in June. We've never come off a 3-month of possibility of some guys not doing anything. So it's going to be a tough situation, and really got to pay attention to it. But with that being said, I kind of will jump into maybe what we do, and it's a year-round model, and I can just kind of go with it. You stop me whenever. But
awesome, sounds great.
Our obviously we just came off our January winter conditioning, and during that time, the first 4, usually depending upon our bowl game. Now we played a late game this year, which I hope we always do. So I don't think we started lifting until the 21st, 22nd, something like that. It might have been the day after Martin Luther King Day. So we ended up not having about 7 weeks to train, and 6.5. So for the first 4 weeks, our training consists of 4 days a week of lifting. And I change my lifting program up every single year, and I change it up depending upon what I think our players need. And this year, for example, I didn't think we had a lot of time to get them ready before we started spring ball with 7 weeks, and we played a long season. So I did something, and I always do different things, but this year we trained for the first 4 weeks. We hit our total body 4 days a week. We trained Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. On Wednesdays, we did a team run. Now, going back on Monday we would speed train for probably 25 to 30 minutes. Most of my speed training is acceleration work. We do have something. We used to pull sleds and chains. We bought run rockets this past year, and they've been awesome. Love them. A little expensive, but they've been great. So we will work on acceleration training. And then I'll always finish with some I call them just dry sprints, or no resistance at all, just guys sprinting. Rarely do I go over 40 yards. Most of my sprints starting off are 10, 15, 20, and about the last week we work up to 25 or a 30-yard sprint, but that's it. Once we finish there, we go in the weight room and we'll lift on Monday. Tuesday, and to give you kind of how the lifting split up, what I did this year, sometimes we've done a upper lower Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday, but this past year I told you we trained total body. So the way I made it up was I like these movements. It's Dan John. I read a bunch of Dan John books, and there's 5 or 4 movements we'll always do. It's a pushing movement. That can be a vertical or a horizontal. A pulling movement, which is a vertical or horizontal. A hinging movement, which is obviously our Olympic movements. A squatting movement, which is a double or a single leg, front or a back. And then we will work, I put the 5th one as core and neck. But the way I set it up was I kind of use a little bit of a conjugate method from West Side, where we're going a heavier max effort day to an extent. We're doing a dynamic speed day, and then we're doing a rep method. Now, within all that, I know this sounds crazy, but within all that, we also had a single leg and a single arm movement day. So I wish I could go into it more, but I don't even have all my stuff here to look at it to make sure I'm saying exactly right, but I know what we did. But we would train, and that's the way we train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We would run on Thursdays with me during our workouts after we did our team run on Wednesday. On Thursday, we'd run after the workout's over. We would do diagonals this year. So my skill guys would start on corner of the end zone, and they would run a diagonal to the 30-yard line. Then they would jog across the field, and in the middle of the field, I had speed ladders set up, and they would do a speed ladder. Once they came through the speed ladder, they'd walk to the other side of the field, and then they would diagonal back to the goal line and then walk across. So they were doing that. Combo guys, for us, that's our tight ends and linebackers. They did 20. So they would start at the goal line. They'd run across to the 20, and then the speed ladder, 20 back, speed ladder, and walk across. And then our linemen, something I actually stole from Yancey McKnight at Texas, our linemen, we did 53s. So we wouldn't, and I do 53s all the time, but the way we did it was we would run a 53 across the field, and then they would have to backpedal to the middle of the field, then they turn and walk. And Yancey was saying he did it because early on they were getting some hamstring pulls if they ran a true half gas or over and backs. But to get the volume in, he wanted to get it in without pulling a hamstring. So he would sprint them across pretty hard, backpedal middle of the field, and walk back. And so that's what we did. So that was our run on Thursday. And then on Friday, I tried to throw different things at them. I mean, we would still do our whatever our lifting called for. But then we would try to finish off with sled pushes or tire flips or something different to change it up. As well as to get the guys working together. I like to take them outside. I like to throw different stuff at them. I like for them to work together. We do things where we came up with, I think we had 225 pounds on the bar, and there was a rope attached to the bar, and there were 2 chains attached to that rope. And there were groups of 5. They had to get that whole apparatus 200 yards down and back. Now, they could do it any way they wanted, but the chain had to drag the ground. They could take the 45s off. They could put it on their back. 2 of them could get under it. But I just like them to get challenged not only physically but mentally. And I think it makes them work together. I don't let them pick their own groups. I'll put them in groups. Guys that don't usually hang out with each other, we're going to let them kind of hang out with each other and work together then. So just something different to change it up. That's the first 4 weeks. The last 3 weeks of our off season, we go into what we call our dog time program. And that's where we're really ramping it up to get ready for spring ball. So what changes is then we lift Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we run Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, this is the blueprint of what Coach Smart was doing at Alabama. I did not come from Alabama. I was at Marshall University prior. But I knew kind of what the fourth quarter, the blueprint of it was. So when I got to Georgia and I sat down with Coach Smart and we looked at the program, I thought there were some things that we could change that would benefit our players better from a football standpoint. But I kept the blueprint the same. The blueprint is you run Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. All right. On Mondays and Fridays, we did more agility work. Now, usually, or in years past, or even since I've been here, or in the fourth quarter program at Alabama and the different places that run it, you kind of do something called 8 station, 4 station. You do 8 stations, you take a break, and you combine those stations down to 4. Well, I thought our guys were starting to get tired of doing that, and I didn't think they were competing in the first 8 stations. I thought they were just trying to get through it. And so this year, we actually changed it up, and we did 4 stations and then 4 more stations. But those stations, you were competing against it, and you were getting tallied by GAs and people that would check who won and who lost. And we would put that up each week before we started so you could kind of see where you're at. Were you a guy hiding in the back not winning? Were you a guy up front winning a lot of them? If you were winning a bunch of them, were you going against somebody that was competing with you? And so we would put different colored shirts on them based on who was winning, who was losing. So we knew that guy that's winning a lot better be racing the same guy that's winning a lot. But anyway, we would do 4 stations and then 4 stations. I liked it a lot better. I thought our guys worked a lot harder. And then we went into more indie type work, obviously without a ball. But I thought, the way I looked at it was let's do, once I can get agility work done, and I know I'm getting a good conditioning base as well as agility work done, let's do football specific stuff. Because I don't need that offensive lineman to do backpedal drills in a agility station. He's never going to do it in a game. Or that lineman or that DB doesn't need to take short, choppy steps. But to get to be able to work on your craft, I thought it was a good idea. Let's work on our craft. Let's let these guys work on what they do and practice them in the game. So the last probably 10 to 15 minutes, we did almost like indie type work, but it was specific to your position, which I liked a lot. That was Monday and Friday. Tuesday and Thursday was more of our linear type running. We do speed development work. Now, obviously, anybody that's listening is going to say, well, you can't do speed development when you're tired. And I agree with you, you can't, but this is the way the program works. Half the team will be on the outside of the field running boxes or curves. I'll explain that in a minute. The other half of the team will do speed development work in the middle of the field. So it's a great blueprint because you can get 120 guys on one full-size football field, and everybody can be doing something at the same time. Our guys in the middle of the field will do speed development drills. For example, we will do a high knee march working on our form, and then you will sprint out for 15 yards or 20 yards. Almost every drill we do is a technique, and then it's a full speed sprint, and you may have 7 guys at a time going. That will be done in the middle of the field while the other group is on the outside doing either curves or boxes. I like the boxes. This year we're really good. Boxes for us, our linemen run 10 yards in. Then we want them to run, I'd say 80% to 85%. Good fast-paced run, not a jog. All right, for 60 yards, and they will run out 10. So they're doing an 80-yard run. They walk across the field, they run back, they walk across the field. Typically, our boxes are somewhere a minute 50, a minute 55, but I think early on now, I think we were going 2:05 or 2 minutes, somewhere in that range. You got to complete that box in that time. Our skill guys, they would do 100 yards. They would run in 10, run 80, and run out 10, and the walk across, and that's a box for our skill guys. So they do that while one group's going in the middle, one group's on the outside. We'll take a break and we'll flip it. So that's kind of our off-season running as far as that goes the last 3 weeks before spring break. We do test. Coach Smart's not a big on testing, and it's actually easier on me. I don't have to worry about getting somebody hurt, and he's not a number chaser, and I don't have to be either. So we will do a power clean, we will do a bench, and we will do a squat. Our power clean is no straps from the floor. If they want to hit a double, I'll let them hit a double. Sometimes we've got guys hit a triple, but I'll stop them after 3. I don't really like to do the 1-rep maxes. I'd rather go, I think we go 98% of their max and try to get 2 out of it. Our squat is the same thing, and our bench is I think our bench is almost the same thing as well. We do bench with a block. I started doing that probably 2 years ago. And people can say, look, I've been in it 21 years, and I can hear guys go, well, that's not a true bench. And you're right, it probably isn't. But I'm training a football player, not a power lifter or not a bodybuilder or a CrossFit competitor. His game is not he has to bring the bar down, pause, and press back up, and he gets white lights or red lights. His game is on the field to be able to push and pull and stop and start. Point of it being, I just thought it was a little bit safer for us to use block when we bench. It saves our shoulders and pecs a little bit. The other reason is, to be honest with you guys, is I think it was 3 years ago, maybe 2. Roquan Smith, one of our top draft picks. I think he was like 8th or 7th overall, first round with the Bears, but he tweaked his pec pretty bad, missed all of spring practice. And, we got to have guys playing and practice and not bench pressing. So we use something called blocks, BLOKZ. I actually got them on Amazon. They're hard, kind of a hard, I don't know what they're not plastic, but they're kind of I don't know, look them up. They're foam, hard foam. That's what it is. But you can change the position they got grooves in them for a 2-block, a 3-block, a 4-block. So you can kind of change it up. So the old school 2x4 is taped together. We don't have to do that anymore. Anyway, we get into spring ball. We're still lifting 3 days a week during spring ball. We'll lift Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We practice Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Our Mondays and our Fridays are pretty big days. Our Mondays and Wednesdays are pretty big days to lift. I usually like to get a fairly heavy squat with them on Mondays, and then we'll get some kind of pushing motion on Wednesday. We're still going to clean. Now, we may not catch cleans in spring ball. We'll do clean pulls, dumbbell snatches, but we won't catch the clean. just saves our wrists and elbows and shoulders. On Friday, I do a lot of specific to their position. We may hit 1 or 2 exercises that are strength-based, but then it's really just getting them ready for Saturday. Most of the time for us, Saturday's a scrimmage, and I want them to do their best. So I'm not a big foam roll guy and all this and mobility work. We do it. I've learned to do it more. I'm still old school. But on Fridays, we will do a little bit more foam rolling, mobility work. Our wide receivers and DBs will do a lot of barefoot work. So we'll do some things like that. Guys, as much as anything, it makes them feel good. And they know we're taking care of them, and it makes them feel ready to go for Saturday. That takes us through spring ball. We get into May, Master. That's really our discretionary time. So the guys usually go home. We do have I'd say maybe 30 guys that stay for Maymester, and the weight room's open for them, but nothing crazy. We can't do anything with them anyway. We start our summer up in June. And again, I will go back and look at what do we need to get better at this summer, and then we will tailor our program to that. Again, I do always like to do a push-pull, hinge, squat, core, and neck work. We'll try to do that every day or at least 2 times a week. Because if we're doing like a typical, upper body Monday, Friday, and lower Tuesday, Thursday, then we may not push Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do this summer. That's going to be tough because we may have to throw some things in to get done quicker. I will tell you this. In the summer, we'll do our speed work, usually on Monday again. And typically in the summer, we will run Tuesday. We will not run on Tuesday. We'll run on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday's a team run. Thursday, they will run with me. And Friday is some kind of usually tough circuit type training. We like to go outside. I like to take them outside in the summer, at least 2 days a week. What I like to do is if we're doing hang cleans on Thursday, we may do hang cleans and whatever. Maybe we have a rear foot elevated single leg squat, goblet squat. We'll do those 2 exercises, and then we'll go outside and train for the rest of the time. And we will take our weights outside and train with them. Now, we're fortunate we have, 12 to 15 interns that can help us get all that out and in. But I believe that putting our guys out in the heat and in the summer gets them ready to go for fall camp, and also just believe it helps them mentally to be able to handle camp as well as early on in the season when you got 90,000 plus screaming and yelling and you're trying to win a football game. So we will train outside. And on Fridays, typically, guys, I don't usually run many hundreds. We may run, and I only do 110s anymore. We may do hundreds once in the summer. Most of my conditioning work in the summer is 50s. We may do 53s. I do tempo runs with our guys. For a tempo run, as an example, here's how we do it. It's our linemen run 40 yards, our combo run 45, and our skill run 50 or 53 if we're running across the field. And they will have a certain time to make it. We may start off at 8 seconds. So blow the whistle, they got 8 seconds to get across. It's a 10-second rest. They whistle blows, they go back. We will either do 4 or 5 of those, and that completes a set. When the set's done, our rest time is anywhere between a minute and a minute 20, and then we will go again. So I can manipulate our make time, our rest time, or how many we're doing in a set, or how many sets we're doing. So usually in the summer, we may do 8 seconds to make, a minute 20 rest time. It's always 10 seconds in between each run, but we may do 3 sets of 4. And then the following week, we may do 3 sets of 5. And then the next week, we may go 4 sets of 5. So as they get better in shape, I can add them. And we also do a good amount of 50s, just altogether 50s, where our linemen, then our combo, and our skill run. And we like to do 4 in a row, and that's a game for us. So we'll do 4 in a row, and that's a quarter. 4 in a row, that's a quarter, we rest. We'll play 4 quarters, and we always like to throw a couple overtimes in on them just to – because they know what's coming, so we always maybe throw 2 overtimes on them, so we'll get 18 50s. But that's typically my summer running. And our summer, again, we'll train 4 days a week for the first, if we got an 8-week summer, the first 5 weeks. And the last 3, we will do kind of like we do in our winter, where we'll go 3 days a week of lifting, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but we'll run Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And a lot of that running is agility work outside, and then our coaches take over and we'll work with our guys as well. So that's kind of like, I know that's broad for a summer, but that's kind of our summer. And then once we get in season, we train our starters train 2 days a week. They will either train Sunday or Monday. And then they'll either train Wednesday or Thursday. I like to let our upperclassmen guys, I usually like everybody to come in on Sunday, but if they don't, they can come on Monday. Most of our guys do come on Sunday. And then they get to choose Wednesday or Thursday. A lot of it's based on their, class schedule. Our guys that aren't playing a lot but still are traveling, they'll lift Sunday or Monday, Wednesday or Thursday, but they'll also get a Monday lift in. So if they happen to choose to lift on Monday's 6:30 in the morning anyway. So if they lift Monday in the morning, they still got to come back Monday sometime during the day and get their little extra in. And really, it's just a pump up. It's something to get them in for them to believe that third day is helping them get better. The guys that aren't playing a lot, they will have to come in those 3 days, and they'll also non-travel will lift on Friday. So they'll really get 4 days. For us on Sunday or Monday, we'll always stride out. I like to run them after the game. So we will do somewhere between 6, 8, it's probably 7, 8 to 10 80s. And literally what I like to do is if we're doing 8 80s, we'll stride down for 80 yards and we'll do some form of stretch where we're rock and roll V stretch. We're rocking on our back and then we spread our legs out wide and reach forward. We may do 8 of those. We hop up, we sprint back. Then we sprint down. It's not sprint, but it's good pace stride. Down, we may do a grow and rock. So we will stretch every time we run one down. And then we'll get then we'll get up and go work out. I like to run also. I think it loosens them up. It helps them to get ready for Monday's practice. And it helps me identify guys that may be hurt that didn't go in the training room, that didn't let somebody know they weren't feeling real good. And I can get those guys in the training room and make sure they're ready to go for Monday's practice. We like to squat heavy on Mondays. On Sundays. So we will work up. I like to cycle my squats in the season. We may go 4 weeks, 3 weeks. A lot of it depends on our bye weeks. I like to try to make our bye weeks fall like every 3 to 4 weeks if I can. And we will take a deload week during that week. It just so happens sometimes we are playing a top SEC opponent. And it's the way I've planned it out, we're supposed to deload that week. And I, at first, was a little nervous about it, but we have done that the last 2 years, and it's worked. I think taking something off them a little bit is okay. So we have deloaded during a tough week that we're getting ready to play a game, but I like it, obviously, if we could fall on a bye week. So we will back squat usually in season. We'll go fairly heavy. I would say we'd work up to 85, 88%. Now, we may only do doubles or even cluster singles, 1 rep racket, 20-second rest, 1 rep. But we will do fairly heavy. Look, I'm fine with them wearing belts. We let them wear knee wraps, wrist wraps. If they need it, put it on. But if we can get under there and squat, I want to try to do it. Usually mid-season, 4 weeks, or mid-season, about 3 to 4 weeks, I won't squat them at all, but I'll do a pit shark. So pit shark is like a belt squat machine. So I just like to take some weight off their spine, off their posterior chain, off their shoulders, and we'll do a pit shark instead. So I'm still getting a squatting motion, but I'm just not having to load their spine up. And then we'll finish off the season going back to our squat. Wednesday, we'll bench, and that'll be a little bit heavier, but I will squat again on Wednesday. And we make it to where Wednesday's our speed day. We beat people because we're faster than they are, and it's because we're fast on Wednesday. And that's what we call it, Speed Wednesday. And we usually hook the tendos up, and we're moving the bar as fast as we can. It may be 4 sets of 2, 5 sets of 2 at 50, 55%, but we want them to feel fast and explosive. And that's what our Wednesday is. With some auxiliary work, we'll always do neck. I'm always going to do neck in season and out of season. We're always going to try to do 2 pulls for every push. So pull-ups, rows, dumbbell rows, one-arm rows, any type of rolling motion. We're going to try to get at least 2 of those in on Sunday and Wednesday. And then I like to get a good amount of shoulder work. I think our guys' shoulders get beat up. So I call them banded field goals, reverse field goals, forward field goals, internal, external. We do a lot of work on our stomachs with I's, T's, Y's, W's, swimmers, things like that. Probably the other big thing that I'll always hit in season and out of season as well is some form of glute ham. I like doing the poor man glute hams. We're fortunate. We've got the poor man glute ham machine. It's nothing but a bench that you put your feet in the back. It holds it, but it keeps people from having to hold each other's feet. But we will cycle those up. We may do 1 set of 5. We may do 3 sets of 5. We may do 1 set of 8. We'll change it up, change the volume up. We're going to usually do that at least once a week, as well as some, if you look it up, some Copenhagen exercises for our hammies. We call them swimmers. It's almost like a single leg RDL that we will use as well. So that's kind of our in season. And then our non-travel will work out again on Friday. We're always been pretty hard on non-travel on Fridays. Man, these guys take a beating all week long, and most of them are paying for their own school. And look, I've been there, and I mean, it's hard. So I don't beat them up like we used to, man. We let them have fun. We'll do a little bicep, tricep pump up. We let them have a good time. And we got really good kids, so they all come in and get it done. So that's kind of our in-season work for us. And I'll finish up with this, and maybe if y'all got questions, because unfortunately I got to go at 7:15. But the only other thing I was going to tell you is our deload. We will do typically like higher volume, lighter weight. So we may do 3 sets of 10 bench at 135, and that's it. We may do a couple overhead squats with the bar, maybe 4 sets of 5, and that's it, and then that's it. But that's kind of our bye week. We deload it, but it's almost like a bodybuilding, for lack of a better word, just to try to get a little bit of a pump, get some fresh blood in the muscle. I guess the other crazy thing that I've done before that the kids love, and it's crazy the first time I did it, but an old strength coach told me this one time. He said, I don't need all these fancy machines to tell when guys are tired. He said, when they come in the room and you don't have to control them, and they're quiet, and they're not talking, and you don't have to tell them to listen and focus, then they're tired. And if they're tired, you better take care of them. So usually we will watch them pretty close, and I'd say it's 7th, 8th, 9th game of the season, somewhere around there. They're getting a little tired. It's, monotonous. It's the same stuff. When they come in on Wednesday, we will do our speed squat, and we'll still get that in, but then we'll take them into our meeting rooms, which are cold, dark, and quiet, and we'll take our lift time, and we'll make them take a nap. And the upper class guys love it. They know what's going on now, and they can't wait. Young guys are like, what the heck's going on? What are we doing? Guys, I promise you, we stay in there 25 minutes, maybe 30 if we got enough time, 25 minutes. 99% of them are passed out, and we got to wake them up. And some of the guys that don't have class after weights, they say, I'm going back to bed. So something little like that makes a world of difference. Not only mentally, they know we're taking care of them, but I also believe physically as well. So that's I know I went kind of fast, but that's kind of a year look at what we do at Georgia. If y'all have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer.
If you guys want to come on and throw your cameras on, no problem. Come on in and get some questions in. I'll start, Coach. I know you're obviously at the college level, but what would you recommend for high school kids in terms of an in-season type of lifting program?
I just, I really believe, and like I said, you probably heard, but I really believe in the squat. I really like the squat. And I think, if you guys playing on a Friday, if you could get them in, it'd be great if you could do something on Saturday to get them moving around. I don't know how that works. I don't know if you can, but I would say if you try to get your, heavier work earlier in the week, knowing that you're playing on Friday. But I really like these movements. If you can figure out a way to get a push, pull, hinge, and a squat in, that say, hey, I'm going to get those 4 movements in. And that can be a press, dumbbell press, overhead press, incline press, flat bench press, some kind of pressing, some kind of pulling. So I can do banded face pulls. I can do pull-ups. I can do row, one-arm row, some kind of pulling. I'm going to do some kind of hinging movement. So in season, I don't want to hang clean or power clean guys. I could still do a trap bar deadlift jump. I could still do a almost like a mini RDL to a power shrug. So I can get some form of hip action. I can do a kettlebell swing or a mass bell swing. And then some kind of core and neck. But I think if you could get those 4 movements, I really and I say squat. Let me throw this one out. If there's a way you can get a single leg movement in once out of if you're training twice a week, if you can at least get single leg once out of those, I think that's going to help you to reduce injuries, hopefully.
Did you say before 2 pulls for every push?
I like to try, yes. Now, it could be like this, Mike. I mean, here's the way I look at it. If I do 3 sets of 5 bench press, then I got to figure out a way to get 30 pulls somehow. Because I'm getting 15 total presses, so I better get 30 total pulls. So, you can mix it up any way you want, but I really like to try to get 2 pulls for every push, because you guys know as well as I do, if you let them go work out, they're going to bench press and bicep curl most of the time. Nobody's ever going to pull. Nobody's ever going to work their back. That's why they all, they're walking around like this. So the more you can pull, I think it helps you from an injury standpoint. And I just think it's good. Hey, heck, it's going to help your bench out if you got a bigger back anyway. So, right. But I just like doing pulling stuff.
Go ahead, fellas. Somebody got some other questions. Let them fly. Coach Lynch, you got something?
Yeah, I got one for you, Coach. John Lynch, head strength coach at UMaine. And just a question in terms of in-season conditioning. What kind of input do you have with practice, like practice lengths? And are you doing any auxiliary conditioning maybe during practices that you run? And then how are you working the bye week in over the length of the season if you're doing a conditioning program, that's the whole season long?
Okay, so we do not condition in season. Our practices usually are 2-spot. So we've got literally 2 fields with 2 groups going at the same time. So we get a good amount of reps out of that. The only conditioning we will do post-practice is usually with our overweight guys. Now, and let me back up. I will say this. On Mondays, we do condition our O-line. Anybody that's not on a special team on Monday, during that special team period, we will run them. And I may do 15 20s, and that's all it is. But it's, it's a fast pace. It's running. You may have 6 minutes out of a kickoff return period that anybody that's not on that runs. That's about it. Other than that, big guys that are overweight that aren't hitting that are not hitting their weight, we will run them after practice. Unfortunately, we got to, guys get penalties. We got to run them, but that's not really conditioning. That's just, them screwing up. I'm trying to answer your are you asking, do we condition during our bye week?
Yeah, so just for an example, like we were kind of working on some stuff like aerobic potentiation, doing an aerobic or at least an intermittent workout like a Thursday before a game. And so one of the things that we did, we used prowlers, and we did it on Sunday for our flush because we do a flush lift on Sunday. But on the bye week, we moved it to Saturday to kind of simulate the game and use that to almost put the impact of the game back on the guys, but in a way that was, more physiologically geared, not as much, connective and soft tissue type stuff. So, that was just the way I was thinking about it in terms of like getting an aerobic stimulus on them. And I just didn't know how you would were you doing anything to replace the game stimulus when you didn't have a game?
No. And I mean, it sounds like a neat idea, but I think honestly, when our guys get a bye week, they don't get to go home at all. So most of them are out of there. We will practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we will lift that. I think we lift Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So as soon as their lift is done on Friday, they're out of there. And they're not coming back till till Sunday. So we don't do anything. And, I feel like a lot of times just letting them get away for a day is just as beneficial as doing something with them. So I will run them on Mondays, and then they will run, obviously practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll do a quick lift on Friday, and then that's it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Not to say that's right. We all do different stuff. That's just the way we do it.
Couple for me, Coach. Just your personal thoughts about what age you should start working guys out with those major lifts.
Well, So my daughter's 12, and I have her doing dumbbell clean and presses and some front squats. Now, we're dealing with the bar, and that's it. Her dumbbell clean and presses are 20s. But I think if you teach it correctly and you have somebody there watching them and it's done the right way, then I don't see anything wrong with it. Now, putting weight on her back and making her max effort squat, no, I mean, I think that's silly. But, she's doing goblet squats to get her movement pattern down for the squat. I think 12 and 13, you could definitely start working in that for sure. And I've always told guys this, like, if you don't have access to the bumper and the hang cleans and power cleans, you're not real sure exactly how to do it. If you take a med ball and you put it on the ground and you just get their back flat and tell them to throw that med ball vertical, it's the same movement pattern as a clean. You're still getting triple extension in the ankle, the knee, and the hip. So I'm a big fan of med ball. With our guys late in the season, we don't clean anymore because I think our shoulders and elbows are getting beat up. So we only do med ball throws the last 3 weeks of the season. So I think if you can do those types of things with 12, 13-year-olds, I think you're okay.
Awesome. My next question just is, I don't know if you've ever done this at the high school level before. Maybe it's a little bit different at UGA because a lot of you guys on scholarships and they have to be in your workout program. What would you say just overall would be, your number one or number two areas to just get guys motivated to want to get in there and get their work in, enjoy it, and just make it be about who they are, throughout their entire high school and college careers?
I think for me, number one is I've got to portray some energy and some excitement and some passion so they want to come in and do it. And if they see me bringing that every day, I think that's going to excite them. I think, and this is just me talking, but I don't tell them to do something I can't do. I grind my butt off every day. I'm going to work out every day. And I believe when they pass by that weight room and they see me in there doing something, it just, in a way, motivates them, lets them know, man, if Sinclair is doing it, I can do it too. That. I think the thing that I've learned this offseason too, with the third thing that I would say is let them have some, God, what's the word? I'm trying to think. Let them have some buy-in to doing it the way they want to. And here's my example. Look, guys, I still don't wear hats in the weight room. I may start. I don't wear earrings or necklaces. I won't let them do that. That's safety. But sleeveless shirts, we never did it. I'm letting them do it. Wearing tights, I hated tights. I think it's sissy, but they like them. Them make their own playlist up and music, let them do it. Little things like that where they have ownership, it's made a huge difference to us and our guys wanting to come in and get excited. So, I've always been old school doing it, 21 years, hey, we do it this way, but I've kind of got a little bit more, I don't know if lax is the word, but just letting them have some ownership of it. And y'all want to play this and we'll play it. Y'all want to wear sleeveless shirts with this slogan, y'all make up the slogan, we'll buy them. Y'all want to get different shoes, let's do it. So silly things like that has made a difference because our off season this past year was great. And I even brought them in and said, and I brought them in to talk to them about it, but what do you guys like? What do you don't like? What would you like to do more of? I said, I'm not saying I'm going to change it, but let me hear what you have to say, so giving them some ownership of it, I think has made a difference. We are going to do something. I guess the last thing I'd say is we're going to do in our new weight room, we're getting a new room built, but we're going to have a big, gigantic video board in the middle of it. And you can do this with a dry erase board, but just when we're doing our speed work and we're going to get this new system, it's called a perch system. But anyway, it's just like a Tendo. It tells you how fast you're moving the bar in meters per second. So I'm going to start putting up the guys that are hitting top speeds, and then guys come in and see that and they want to compete against that. I think if you can let them compete against each other, that motivates them to want to do well too. So we have a big GPS. We have GPS units for our guys, and we have a big sign in our hallway, and we put up the guys that have the fastest speeds for that game. and we have an All-American section, an All-Conference, and a All-SEC or something like that. I don't know. And so they get their names up there. They get a T-shirt for hitting top speeds in a game. So, you know, as silly as it is, y'all, because, I mean, I'm 43, and I used to just go work hard because I was supposed to work hard. I think the kids nowadays have to get this external motivation to want to make them go. But if you can find those little things like that that they enjoy and like, I think they'll go for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Did you guys got anything else before we let Coach go? Coach Lynch, DePompo, or Snell?
I'll just say to Coach Lynch real quick, I turned some of my guys onto your YouTube page, man, and we got some good feedback on some of those workouts that you were doing out in your yard there.
Yeah, it's good stuff, Coach.
Yeah, I had one guy had his mother film him doing those lunges on his front staircase. That was one of the first ones I saw on there when I checked it out myself. So good
Coach
stuff.
Sinclair, before I let you go, I got a couple of Guilford College questions for you.
All right.
Number one is, did you run more gassers at Guilford College in the season, or do you run more gassers now at UGA?
I tell you what, we probably ran more at Guilford and we ran them like on a Thursday morning at 5:30 before we played on a Saturday.
I know, man. We went back a few years ago and went on the campus, and I went down to the old practice field by the pond there, and I showed my sons. I'm like, this is where I used to throw up, like, at the end of almost every practice from them gases. The next one is I'm gonna see him on Sunday. So how many times over the course of your 4 years did you have to fight Mike Working in practice?
You know, it's funny because I think Working played a little bit of defense too, so I didn't have to do it as that much. But golly, he sure did run his mouth a lot.
He still does, man.
Beat up more than he did.
He still does. And then the last one I have, when I was looking you up, it appears as though you have the duties of get-back coach on the Georgia sideline. Is that the hardest thing you do all week, is keeping Coach Smart back?
It's a little bit embarrassing, to be quite honest with you. You know, I think – I don't know, guys. 21 years, I remember my first job at Wake Forest in 1999. And, like, you know, they said, hey, you just got to keep the players back. And that was it, because coaches knew how to do it. You know, and then gradually it's like it's just gotten worse and worse. And I got to Georgia, and I was just keeping the players back that first game. And the next thing I know, he's out on the dang sidelines or out on the numbers, and the referee's yelling at you or me. So I kind of got stuck with it. Now it's just kind of, I don't know, man. It's crazy. I hate doing it because I can't even enjoy the game.
That's awesome.
Well,
Coach, I appreciate your time, man. Thanks for taking a little bit of time to zoom in all the way up to Maine and do this for us, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, if you guys are ever down this way, hopefully we get back to normal soon, and love for you guys to come down and visit. Please do anytime. And we're getting a brand new room done, brand new whole facility. It's supposed to be done in summer of 2021. So we're going from about 10,000 square feet to 24,000 square feet. So it's going to be 16 racks and platforms to 32. So it's going to be really, really exciting and nice. So love for you to come down and check it out and come hang out with us. And, you know, a couple week or so in the summer, if you want to come hang out and watch, come on.
All right, man. That'd be great. I'm going to try to make it down there someday. That'd be awesome.
Okay. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. You too. We'll see you. See you guys.
All right. Good luck, guys. Have a good summer.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.